Hey guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back. We're going to be going over what the H happened today in the crypto markets because there's been a lot of action. I'm going to take you through it step by step. So, I was listening to a Twitter Spaces earlier today with a bunch of guys who are, experts in the industry, and I just couldn't help but laugh that these guys had absolutely no idea what the F they were talking about. And I just thought it was really interesting. I wanted to do a video update to everybody just to explain to everyone how this move ended up happening and why we had such an explosive end to it for that push all the way up to 35K, because there was some key levels, but there was also a big liquidity pool as well, a lot of shorts that got hunted. And I just wanted to give a rundown on why that was the target for my trade, and why I believe that there was a decent chance that it could get up there and hunt for those positions. And yeah, I just thought it was really interesting listening to a bunch of guys who on crypto Twitter. Some of them have hundreds of thousands of followers talking about finance and talking about crypto markets and stuff like that. And they're coming on this space and they're talking about, oh, do you think that this the news that was released is strong enough to withhold this rally and keep it going? Or is it like when you have a news event that's like this, and is it not so substantiated? You generally see a quick pullback or something like that. Guys, this move had absolutely freaking nothing to do with the news. Yes, BlackRock, I think probably Larry Fink the other day coming out and saying that Bitcoin is a flight to quality is absolutely massive. And that's probably the biggest thing that's going on right now. And then obviously it is getting closer to the BlackRock ETF getting confirmed as well by the SEC. 100% that helps, and that obviously brings in a little bit of extra demand. But the reason why the chart moved in the way it did, it has a lot more to do with the game theory behind the traders and the stop hunting of liquidity pools and stuff like that, rather than a news release that BlackRock starting to put the infrastructure into place with the clearing facilities, which is basically the back end for their ETF, and getting that into position. Anyway, let's jump onto the charts. I'll give you guys a little bit of a breakdown. So this is one of the charts that I have been showing for some time now. Just, this basic range. First of all, we'll start from the start. We had the selling climax low come in here, and then we had a really nice sweep of that low. This was also, if we flicker across the daily time frame, was actually quite a large daily divergence. Uh, we haven't had one that's stretched on for that long for some time. Probably the last time we had one similar would have been back here, which resulted in 100% rally from that push into the all-time high, right? And it was sort of around the similar time period, a little bit later, a few months later in the year, and obviously a much different part of the cycle. But same sort of thing was going on. Very boring middle of the year, dragged out for a long time. Multiple push down, constantly taking people's stops out. And then we have the nice reversal out of that, right? So when you get into a position throughout one of these, because a few people messaged me, they got into a position on this bullish engulfing and then they took profit up here and stuff like that. If you do get in on a daily bullish divergence, sometimes I just like, if I'm in a really good position, I'm just like, look, I bought the bottom, I'm in a great position, I'm going to try and hold this or get stopped out at break even, is sort of the philosophy that I have on that. And try and get the full daily swing for it to go from being oversold on the daily time frame to overbought on the daily time frame, which obviously we're pushing those overbought areas now. So it's just a little oscillator type theory anyway. But we managed to flip the 50% of the range through here, and then it sort of started taking off quite aggressively from there. This was a really nice, the fake news pump, and then, we had the big retrace. A lot of times when you put in big wicks like this, the market does end up pushing up to fill in that wick, which we did manage to do over the next few days. But more importantly, what happened over the next few days is we actually flipped the 200 daily moving average and also the 200 weekly moving average as well. This one is the weekly, I'm pretty sure. Let's have a look. Yes, this is on the weekly. I'm just going to change it across to the daily, and you see that they're almost in the exact same position at the moment. So there's a 200 daily. We flipped that. But if we go in and zoom in a little bit further, flip this back to the 200 weekly, which is a very, very important level for all markets. We go into the lower time frames. we can see that this really held as a support level after flipping it. So that's always a good sign when you see price action like this. And also, the 4 hour was quite overbought and it just managed to hold it quite high. There wasn't really much of a deep retracement on this at all. And as soon as we got above that 200 weekly moving average, every time it came back down into it, there was somebody buying in there, right? Anyway, so we flipped that and pushed up to the highs. And then this morning, typical range target is this 0.618 level, right? And obviously taking out the highs back here, obviously a little bit of liquidity up here. But then this morning it got really aggressive and we pumped all the way to, this 35,000 level. And we're going to go quickly take a look at why this level is so important. And one of those reasons is it is the previous year, or the previous year, I should say, from 2021, sorry. So it's from the VWAP from this year here. And so you can see that the low value area low got put in here, value area high got put in here. And this is just a standard deviation from the yearly VWAP, which is the blue line through the middle. And this is one standard deviation each side. And we call this the value area. So when that closes off on, January 1st, 22, it gives us this value area. And then we have the previous year's value area through there, right? And as you can see, in the year that are currently in, so the previous year, this level here is called the previous year value area high. We can see that has been holding price down for multiple touches throughout this whole year. So to finally break through that level is quite important, right? It's going to get some slides up because I'm actually writing about this at the moment. Because it's such a good example of liquidity hunting, right? And so what we can see here is on the left-hand side, we have all of our long position liquidations. And so there's no real large amounts of liquidations until we sort of get down to at least under 24, around the 23K area. Then there starts to be some quite big positions. And, these are the purple lines are 3X longs. The green ones are 5X longs and the blue ones are 10X longs, right? And you can see there's a big gap, almost 5 to 6K from current price down there. So there's going to be a lot of effort to get down to start to hunt those liquidations, right? And this is one of the main things that, the whales look to target. Some people call it the algorithm. That hunts out people's liquidity levels and stop losses and stuff like that. Other people call it the market maker, right? But regardless of whatever it is, a combination of whales, market makers, that work for the exchanges or are the exchanges themselves hunting people's stop losses. There's bounties there at those specific levels, and they're usually above key areas of the chart, right? So here we can see that the most recent high in this level through here was about 32K, right? So anybody that entered shorts all through this area through here, a lot of them set up their trades so they have their liquidation levels all through around this area through here, right? And a lot of these people were also entering trades all through this run up through here as well, and they were looking for this head and shoulders type pattern to play out. And a lot of people were quite bearish, at least expecting a pullback down to 25K, and either that sweeps the low and then takes off, or was going to dump all the way down to 20K, right? Obviously, that didn't happen because we could see the momentum really starting to kick in with the releases of the good news as well, which helped. And then you have the TWAP buyers, which are basically a really large buy order that just basically buys over time, certain amounts. It just ticks along. And usually when somebody is, what we call it TWAPing, they're consistently buying like that in quite large volumes. It pushes the order book up and pushes price up over time because it's just that constant added demand. And every time people try and sell into it, it's just instantly bought up, right? So you had Coinbase also leading Binance and the perps as well. So that's always a good sign when the spot exchanges, especially Coinbase, which a lot of the big US players use, is leading the perpetual futures markets in price. So, you'll see maybe it's like $50 or sometimes it gets $100 in front. That means that the spot market is actually leading the perps market, and there's no leverage involved. And that's a really strong, pure rally that can be sustained. Because people that are trading perps, they sell a lot easier, and they take profit and they flip short a lot quicker than what people who are buying spot, because the fee differential is quite different, right? So anyway, we were targeting this previous year value area low, right, as our target for this trade, right? And we pretty much got all the way up there. It depends which chart you go on, but if you're on perpetual futures, it went all the way. Some went up all the way to like 36 and stuff like that. But Binance Spot made it all the way pretty much up to there, and so did Coinbase. Bybit went all the way through, and so did Binance Perpetuals as well, right? So what was happening is we can see on this chart here all these liquidations here. So yellow is short 3x, orange is short 5x, and red is short 10x. And you can see from 31 about 0.8 and up all the way to 35, there was a huge amount of short liquidations, and price was actually coming up quite close to this area. And that's why I was like, this is definitely the target, because it was just so obvious. Like the head and shoulders set up, everybody flips bearish, the whole world's going down the toilet. And then there's this huge bounty just above the key level, above the previous year value area high. We know there's a gap all the way up to the next year's previous, the 2021 value area low. So we know it can move quickly through that space as well, because in between value areas. And then we have this massive bounty of all these shorts in here. So this is what the chart looked like beforehand. Right, as we were sort of approaching that area, it was about 32K at this point. I just put this post up of this chart in the Facebook community and said, this area is, this 35, 500 area is probably going to be, if we can start tapping into those liquidations, it can teleport really quickly through that level. And, basically, everybody sort of knows what happens. We ended up getting this 5-minute absolutely giga pump through here that ended up being, in about 10 minutes, we pumped almost $3,000, right? As soon as we started tapping into those short liquidations, right, above that 31,800. So the short liquidation started here, and it just chewed straight through them and got that massive pump. So then we can see once we have gone through and taken out all those liquidations, and as you can see on the chart, then now we can see that they've been completely wiped out, and there's a gap there now. So really interesting and helpful to look at this chart and, help you pick targets and know when the market, if it does start tapping into that 31.8 level, it's going to be a really quick, explosive move, and it's going to take out a big chunk of that liquidity, because, once those liquidations start, they can't really be stopped until that whole amount of fuel. So, these liquidation levels, when you see them like that, it's basically like a whole heap of gasoline, and then somebody breaks through the front of that wall, and it's like throwing a match onto that gasoline. It just goes and goes up in a massive explosion. And that is how price, goes from this point here up to this point here and pumps 3K in a matter of minutes. So that is the real reason why price moved so crazily today. It was in between key yearly value areas, and there was a lot of liquidation sitting above this level. And so it's just something to take note of as well. Bitcoin likes to do this, set up chart bearish type patterns and then play out anyway, bullish anyway. Once everybody's sort of got a bit depressed and be like, oh, this is going to roll over, we're going to go down to 20K. You feel that shift in sentiment. You look around and you look at the fear and greed index, and you're at extreme fear on stocks, you're at extreme fear in crypto. Everybody's been burnt out for a long period of time. No one believes that price can go up. That's usually when things do start to turn around. So when you start to feel like, the whole group and everybody else you're talking to and involved in crypto is all talking and feeling that way, that's probably the time that you really need to start taking notice, because things are about to get spicy. And not let let that bear down your own psychology, and you get bearish and start to become inactive in the market or something like that. Stop paying attention when everybody else stops paying attention, right? Anyway, so that was just my 2 cents on how it all played out. And yeah, basically, put up multiple posts in all our Facebook communities and Discord and everything like that on Twitter about it all playing out in advance. So feel free to follow me on Twitter at DAX Trader. or our Facebook community, Crypto Paradox, or you can also join our Discord community. I'll leave all the links in the comment section below. Discord community, www.discord.gg/Bitcoin. Pretty cool URL. We got the Bitcoin /URL. So yeah, come in and check us out in Discord if you want to. That's all for me tonight, guys. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and we'll see you all in the next app.